Literature review is the documentation of comprehensive review of the published and unpublished work from secondary sources of data in the areas of specific interest to the researcher. Then literature review is an integral part of the entire research process and makes a valuable contribution to almost every operational step. A literature review surveys scientific articles, books, medical journals, dissertations, and other sources relevant to a particular issue, area of research, or theory, providing a description, summary, and critical evaluation of each work. Sometimes, how much literature we should study? We are confused. We read a lot, but where we should stop our reviewing the literature? Very nice pictorial representation about the literature review. Purposes of the literature review. For which purpose? Number one, to demonstrate your knowledge of the subject. You have to have the the whole area of knowledge. Then provide an outline of the relevant theories and concepts. It is another, what are the theories already been used by different researchers, and what are the concepts related with your context and your area. And to focus the research question. What will be your contribution based on your research question? To determine the extent of past research into the subject. This is the most important. To determine the extent of past research. What is the past research? What is the existing research or already done by somebody, and where you want to contribute, where you want to extend your the knowledge of the literature. The total body of knowledge where you want to contribute. To develop a hypothesis, to identify methodologies and methods that have been successfully fully utilized in the past. Suppose in somebody studied in the same area, in the same context, they did in qualitative study. Then you can adopt mixed method or quantitative methods. So you can easily identify where is the methodological gap there. To help ensure all relevant variables are identified, to allow comparison of your findings with those of others. Focus of literature. How to focus? Learning what is known and what is unknown. What is unknown means you need to know when we do your literature, then immediately you understand what is unknown. That area need to fill. So knowing the unknown is very important for one of the purpose of literature review. Then learning how field of knowledge was developed in history, and showing you understand your field. Suppose you're doing your study in pharmaceutical industry, the financial performance of pharmaceutical companies in Bangladesh. So you have to know the pharmaceutical industry and financial consequences of different pharmaceutical companies of Bangladesh. In that area, in that particular area, you have to gather all the knowledge. How many studies have been done, in which year, and what was their studied, and in which way they have done their study. You have to know, or you have to understand all the whole area of knowledge or study, or the review. You have to review all the literature related with your aspect. Then confirming your own research in worthwhile. So suppose without what is happen sometimes, suppose if you do not review your literature properly, you have developed your concept and you did your study. When you submit your paper in any journal, then immediately the reviewer will send the comments, oh, you did this type of study, the same thing already is done by somebody else. So what is you do not have your paper, your study do not have any contribution. So so you need to know where is the gap that you want to fulfill. If you do not do adequate review of your literature, then these kinds of consequences may be happen in your case. That's why literature review is very important, adequate literature review. And justifying your research. Okay, you can justify your research by which, how? Because suppose when you know what is the existing literature and existing knowledge and where is your contribution, and that you can justify, you can give the reasoning. Then identifying how you will make a contribution. So the literature focus on this. Functions of literature review: bring clarity and focus to your research problem. Then improve your methodology. Then broaden your knowledge based in your research area. Then contextualize your findings. Okay. Then procedures for reviewing the literature. There are 5 steps in reviewing the literature. Search your existing literature in your area of study. Review the literature selected and develop a theoretical framework, and develop a conceptual framework, and writing up the literature review. Okay, these are the 5 steps that you have to follow in the for literature review. So what are the different sources of literature from where you can get your literature in your area? Then journal articles. There are some, some database, some library, e-library. There is Science Direct, Elsevier, and Scopus, ISI database, Google Scholar, ResearchGate. There are some from where you can collect your journal article. Then you can get your literature from the books. Then conference proceedings, and in different conference the people publish in their conference. So in conference proceedings you can get your literature. Then government and corporate reports. The government reports some statistical information they provide by government. So you can different journals also been published by the government and corporate houses as well. And thesis and dissertation in the universities is studied. So you can get your literature in the thesis and dissertations. And internet also a good source of getting the literature. So these are the different sources from where you need to collect your literature. Then how to write, how to summarize your literature, how to conceptualize, how to articulate your whole literature. So when you will write your literature, then Okay, hello everyone. I would, and even in the during my lecture, if you do not understand, you can pause the question. It is not necessarily that I shall only go through it and you do not understand it and you just silently listening it. No, if you have any confusion, if you have if you want to know more about this, you can pause the question. I will not mind it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Uh,
Thank you.
okay. Okay. Secondly, steps in literature review. You have to write the global context first. Then you will come with your country context, the national context. Then you have to come to the industry context. Suppose then you have to come with your subject area. Then you will get the gaps in the. Suppose in the global context, different studies is been done in European context, in USA or in Asia or African context. A lot of study been done. Then in your country, what in Bangladesh, suppose if we are studying in Bangladesh, so in Bangladeshi context, or how many studies already done in your area. Then industrial context, industry context. So suppose you focused on the textile industry or medicine industry or leather industry, so or garment industry or which soft drinks industry. So which industry you have chosen, come to particularly in that industry. Then after that, suppose in that industry, then you come to the, if you are focusing on HR, you come to the HR, how many studies been done in your area. Or if you are in commerce, sorry, in accounting, how many studies been done. So you will narrow down. Then particularly you will get a lot of gaps are there. So this is how we find the gaps. It is a funnel like this. So when you will do the literature review, you will talk about the global context and talk about the national context, industry context, subject area. Then you will find the gaps. And after reviewing the literature, our final result is to finding the gaps. Okay, needs to present a broad background of the research related to the problem, and not a simple listening of other works. Should bring together results from the multiple studies to draw conclusions. Should facilitate the identification of the problems, gaps that need to be addressed. Okay, how to how to review the literature, how you will suppose you will make a database and keep a record, and how you will find the gap. Like, when you will review a literature. Suppose you have taken one article, immediately who is the author, in which date it is this paper was been published. Then what was the theoretical and conceptual framework, what was the research questions, what was the methods being used, how they use how to they did their data analysis, or the tools been used for data analysis. Then conclusion, what was the conclusion, what is the implication. And here you can give your comments when you find, you write any article, you find, when you are reviewing any article and filling this table, immediately you will find, oh, they use every cases, you can give the comments. Oh, their objective was this, only focused on this area. So they used the methodology, these methodology, quantitative methodology. So yeah, another study can be done for mixed method research. suppose they use the SPSS, you can say in future research they did not use the advanced social research. So when you will do the literature immediately like this, you will make the literature review matrix like this, then immediately you can give your own comments. That would be the you can say the gap of the literature. Okay, so when you have like this, then immediately you will find many gaps over there. Okay, sometimes we don't understand how to get the gaps.